Hello, bonjour, ça va? And how are we today? It is Friday, May the 16th, 2025, here in southwestern Ontario, Canada, by the beautiful shores of Lake Huron. It's evening time, dinner is done, dishwash is going, and my bath is drawn. I was going to just curl up and watch a nice movie tonight, and then I realized, oh yeah, I didn't come on, did I, and do this video that I was shown in meditation first thing this morning. So I'm going to postpone the bath, and I am going to tune in and give this message that I was supposed to do earlier today. So we're going to continue on with our tale of two frequencies that we spoke about previously. I think it was the last video, if not the second last one, can't remember. I watched a movie. I was guided to watch this movie on Prime Video called Bliss. And there are two well-known actors. What's his name? Owen Wilson, blonde actor. He has a brother who has dark hair. Anyway, I like both of them as actors in the movies. They're usually funny. This one I wouldn't say was funny, but anyway, I digress. And the other one was Selma, I can't pronounce the last name, it's Hayek. Not even gonna try, I have no idea. So in this movie, it just looks like Earth, normal. He's going about his business. He's kind of crashing and burning. He's gone through a divorce. He just gets fired from his company because he can't focus on his work. He keeps drawing these pictures about, his dream house, his dream world, whatever. And to the point where he can't even function. It's an office job and he can't function. So rightly so, he gets fired. So he goes across the street to have a drink after all this devastation has happened to him. He's really down and out. And who does he meet at the bar is Selma. Only she is portraying this street woman. She lives on the street. She seems to have magical powers. She is able to do things that kind of blows his mind. He doesn't understand it. She tries to teach him over time, and he ends up staying with her on the street. He becomes a street person too because he's fired, and he just he forgot his wallet back in the office. He can't go back in, so he has no money, no ID, no nothing. So he joins her. They kind of hit it off. He kind of like her. She's teaching him that the reality that they're in is not real. And she says, I'm going to show you who is real and who is not. And the majority of the people were not real. So for any of you who are understanding the NPCs or PCs, I'm not going to go into that. You can research that. That is kind of my first thought when I was watching this. So she showed to him proof, she gave him proof that these people were not really real. She said she was real, he was real, and there were, I can't remember, there was one other man who was real, and anyway. So she goes about over the next time period when they are together of proving this to him and teaching him that this reality is not real. It's basically a simulation. So she said to him, so then he got, after a while, he got fed up with it. He just thought she was, drugged and just this homeless street woman, and he didn't want to listen to her anymore. He wanted to go find his daughter and his son and get back into relationship with them. Daughter was out combing the streets trying to find him. Did find him. Tried to get him back, come home. Oh, it was very sad to watch all of that. It's very heartbreaking because she didn't understand what was going on with her father. How could he flip like this and go from being the dad she knew to this homeless creature, roaming the streets? The son could care less. He wasn't enamored anymore with his father, to put it politely. The next thing we know, she's desperate. She doesn't want to, the street woman, Selma, is desperate. She doesn't want to lose him. So she gets these blue crystals. And she said, you have to take these blue crystals and then you'll see the truth. And they had to put it up the nasal passages. So she had this little tool that did that. But each one of them, she was going to go with him. Each one of them had to have 10. And if you didn't have 10, it didn't work. So they didn't end up having 20. I think they had 16 or something like that. So he goes, okay, fine, I'll do it. So he does that, she does it, and sure enough, they break out of that reality and into the real reality. And in this reality, everybody is well-to-do. They have solved the financial crisis, the homelessness, everything. Everybody had money. The two of them, Selma and Owen, were a couple, and they lived together in this amazing home. He recognized it because all of his drawings had been exactly that. So he kind of knew, but didn't know that he knew. Every single one of his drawings was exact and showed this reality. And he loved it because he'd been in such a horrendous reality that he was very highly appreciative. He was in love with Selma. She was in love with him. But she was a technological kind of guru who had created this simulation where you could go to experience the ugly. They called it the ugly. And that when you ventured into this simulation, after a while you're going like, whoa, this is really bad. This reality is really bad. I want to go back, and I'm never going to complain about anything again, because I guess this guy was a little bit of a complainer and a little bit miserable. So when he realized the difference, like, he had nothing more to complain about. He was ecstatically happy. She wasn't satisfied, though. She had to prove that her simulation was real, and there were many doubters, apparently, in their reality. So she had to go back in to the ugly reality, get more data, whatever you want to call it, and then come back out and give all of the scientific documented evidence. Well, he didn't want to have anything to do with it at all. And she just couldn't accept that. She said, well, I'm going to go back in, whether you join me or not. So while they're at this fancy dinner, she is being given accolades for creating this amazing simulation, and she's being honored. Everybody's dressed very richly, shall we say. Everything's very rich and well-to-do. And all of a sudden, he sees like a ghostly imprint of his daughter from the simulation reality. And she approaches him. She kind of has this ghostly, etheric kind of appearance. And she can see him. She's tuned into him. She says, you have to make a decision, Dad. Will you come back to me? And he's so drawn to go back to her that he starts to follow her back into the simulation, because he didn't have the right amount of blue crystals to hold him there in their actual reality. So he starts to shift Selma sees this and panics and starts running after him. But what happens is all of their realities meld together. So the horrors and the ugliness of this reality, the lower reality, blends into the higher reality where everything, life is beautiful and perfect and there's no poverty or war or anything like that. And so you've got violence that is now erupting in this perfect world. And the shift is happening. The two of them do manage to shift back into the simulation. And they collect the data, whatever. When it's time to leave, because the police have found them, the police want to throw them in prison for the rest of their lives. There aren't enough crystals. She can't find enough crystals to get back. Only one of them can go back. So he gave the crystals to her, and she went back, and he stayed there with his daughter, and he decided, it's not such an ugly place after all. You never know what's going to happen in this reality, in this simulation. 1 minute you're being chased by the cops, and the next you escape from them, and you're, doing whatever. And he started to see the beauty of that ugly simulation. But what struck me, and I think the message that I was being given, because I already know this is a simulation that we're in, but what struck me was the fact of the two worlds colliding and overlapping. And I'm taking that to be the most important message. The rest is just confirmation for me. But that crossover in the lineage lines is what is disturbing the timelines and the energy codes right now. Because we're in the midst of shaping our new reality, and we're moving out of that, I'm hearing it as like transfixed codes of lower light, and we're shifting that into our higher light. So we're shifting into this new reality of peace and beauty and honor and tranquility and love and light. And that's what I was given. Now, kind of a spoiler alert there for you, but if you want to watch it, it's an exercise in the experimentation of lower to higher worlds of light. So it's on Prime right now, Prime Video, if you want to go find it. Bliss. And it's quite emotional. You'll feel emotion rising up in you because you kind of see it, you kind of get it. Yeah, it's kind of what we're going through. But we have to see the beauty in the lower light as well as the higher light. We have to accept the shadow parts of us, the shadow parts of this world that we're in, to transmute them, change them. You accept them, you love them, you heal them, you vibrate with them, and then you move forward. Because forgiveness is the key. You forgive yourself and others in this reality, and then you move forward. If you're stuck in the shame, blame game, and I know we've heard this a million times, if you're stuck in that victimhood, blame, shame game, you're never going to make it out of this matrix of lower light, because that's the whole, that's the construct in your mind, and only the third eye mind can see through this. She could see through it. She created it, so of course she could see through it. He didn't remember. Wasn't his creation, but he followed her because he loved her and he wanted to be with her. And he was so miserable, and yet there it was. He saw the beauty. He saw the reality. Yeah, we can make a difference. We can shift this. And then I don't have to complain anymore about this to anybody, let alone myself. So this is what we're going through. I'm hearing it as like, how do they say that? threading the eye of the needle. You know, when the camel goes through the eye of the needle, it's a biblical reference. Can't remember it anymore. I used to know all that stuff. It's very difficult. In other words, you can't do it, can you? You can't do that. It's impossible. So you have to shift your own reality into the new world and the new way of being. And this is what we're seeing. We're beginning to see this in the new thought waves of people, the new generational energy frequencies that are rising up and coming to us and through us, for us, about us. As we've talked about in the last few videos, this is us moving through the transcendency of the higher light. People are waking up to this. Pretty soon we won't have to go around teaching and preaching anymore. People will already know. Oh yeah, I already get that. Yeah, I already know that. And I'll be going, phew, now we can get on to another topic. Teach something a little bit more than what we've been doing so far. So that's it. Just confirmation here. We're moving through this. We're transcending from one timeline to another, transposing the old and the new. It's a confirmation for you, basically, is how I'm hearing to say it. So blessings. Take care of yourselves and others. Enjoy the shifting procedure out of the dark and into the light. And we'll be giving ourselves an awesome respite. God bless. We give you peace, love, and light. Okay, if you want to reach us for a session, it's www.healingourenergy.ca. And I shall continue on with my day or night or evening, actually. Go and find another interesting movie that Spirit is guiding me to watch. To give me more messages of confirmation and truth. I love you. Take care of yourselves and others. Bye for now. We'll be back.